If you read the title, you must think I'm crazy, but hear me out. There is lore in Flamingo's, or should I say Albert's, merch advertisements. The majority of my viewers probably have no idea who or what I'm talking about. If you are watching and don't know who Flamingo is, I'll tell you. And if you do, you can skip past this by going to the timestamp on the screen. Flamingo, or Albert, is a Roblox YouTuber with 9.6 million subscribers. His very strange personality combined with PG, edgy humor is a perfect formula for some of the most hilarious and entertaining content. Albert frequently sells merchandise that is out for a limited time. To advertise his merchandise, he creates short clips at the beginning of his videos advertising the merch. Some of these clips are simple graphics, but some of them are videos taken in real life. And this, my dear viewer, is what we'll be analyzing. First, we need to set boundaries of which videos are lore and which videos are not. Videos that include footage from real life, we can call lore for now. Next, let's talk about our characters. We can assume the main character's name is Albert for obvious reasons, and that is all. We don't have any more live characters that are present, but there are inanimate characters. In almost every merch ad that I would classify as lore, there is a mannequin accompanying Albert. This mannequin seems to be his significant other. From what I know, there is no name for the mannequin, so I will be calling it, or should I say her, wife. Wife doesn't seem to speak English, or for that fact, any known language. Whenever wife talks, she talks through gargles, and on screen it shows cryptic text. I looked for 30 minutes, but I couldn't find anything about the text being a cipher or a secret code. So right now I'm assuming there is no significance to the text. I should also set down a timeline. For simplicity, I'm going to have the timeline be based on 3 main videos. The first video will be Albert's new merch made something terrible happen. The second will be Flamingo's wife, and the third will be I am playing Roblox in this video. These won't be the only videos I analyze, but they will be the major ones that contribute to the plot. The first video, Albert's new merch made something terrible happen, starts off with a 2000 style commercial for the new merch playing on a TV. The TV cuts out and Albert tries to get it to work because he wants to get merch for wife. It doesn't fix itself, so Albert devises a new plan to get merch for wife. Albert creates a summoning circle with other deceased mannequin heads surrounding it. Since wife seems to be somewhat sentient and is portrayed as alive, we can only assume that these heads are alive or once were. Albert goes on to sacrifice his favorite styrofoam head, Felipe. This summoning circle apparently worked, according to Albert. Then it cuts to a scene of Albert throwing his wife off a roof. Albert runs to see if she is okay, and it ends. So there isn't much to unpack here. This first video could just be seen as a way to set the story in motion and help us get to know our characters. The second video is more interesting, to say the least. Titled Flamingo's Wife, it is exactly what you would think. This video explores the relationship between Albert and his quote-unquote wife. We start with the two laying in bed. Albert dreams about throwing wife off the roof, an event which occurred in the first video. Waking up feeling disturbed about the dream, Albert wants to go for a walk. This kicks off a rather nice compilation of Albert and wife hanging out and going to the store. A nice shift away from the creepy, disturbing tone that is typically conveyed. After the store, they head back to their house and eat cereal and milk. The camera abruptly cuts out and cuts to a sewer. Albert and wife lie in the sewer, and Albert wakes up. Confused about wife, he looks to see a dark silhouette of a man with glowing eyes. He grabs wife and walks away onto a railroad and drops her. He then walks away and the video cuts out. Right afterward, seemingly ending the ad, while Albert holds wife, he says the words, "And here she is again. No matter how many times I try to get rid of her, she always comes back. This is not a joke. This is a cry for help. Please help." While this could just be a joke because he is back to his recording setup, and I would usually assume that means the lore part is over, it does seem weird that wife never dies. Even when he tears her limbs off, throws her onto a railroad track, ollies his skateboard onto her. The dream is one thing I find interesting though. I have 2 conspiracies on this. My first idea is that this dream is just linking the 2 videos together, showing some sort of timeline between the 2 videos. My second idea is that this dream and the clip in the first video are flashbacks to wife getting injured, or worse, dying. Now this might sound far-fetched, but it seems strange that wife speaks a language we don't know, but Albert understands it. It also seems strange that we see wife as a mannequin, a useless piece of plastic that is replaceable, but Albert sees it as a living thing. This opens up a new realm of conspiracies and questions that I won't fully get into. But we know that Albert sees wife as a living sentient being and still shows lack of empathy towards her. Another thing to note is that Albert has mannequin heads. a lot of mannequin heads. Did he have other wives, husbands, friends, family? Is he not the protagonist, but rather the antagonist? With those questions in mind, let's watch the final video. Video 3 wasn't a merch ad, but an April Fool's upload. In 2020, he had another one of these uploads, but it doesn't connect enough to include it in the lore. The video starts with Albert in a warehouse, or maybe his and wife's house because we see it in video number 2. Regardless, Albert is playing Roblox. Nothing seems very significant about the game he is playing. After 36 seconds, the lights turn off in the warehouse. Albert doesn't take notice, but his manner seems to change. Then the lower body of the same dark silhouette appears in his camera for around 4 seconds while Albert says, "Can we please try again?" multiple times. I can't fully tell what this means, but it seems like Albert is emphasizing this line, as if he wants the dark figure, or maybe his wife, to come back. After some time, Albert blanks out, the lights turn on, and he goes back to filming his video. After he does the outro, he blanks out again, and an orb floats by. As someone who plays Phasmophobia, I immediately thought about ghost orbs, but it could just be dust. The reason I think the orb plays some significance is because Albert's eyes followed the orb. Since the only knowledge I have of ghost orbs is from Phasmophobia, I went to the most trustworthy source I know, online ghost hunters. According to hauntedrooms.co.uk, orbs of light are generally thought to be a manifestation of energy, which is why they're sometimes referred to as ghost orbs or spirit orbs. And according to Marco Mystery and History, clear orbs may be a sign that an entity is trying to communicate with you. The spirit may be trying to let the living know that some kind of significant event happened in that location and the spirit wants help to move on. From these quote-unquote experts, it seems that the orb that was in Albert's video was trying to tell us that an event happened at the warehouse that Albert is frequently in. This event is probably the death of someone or something that was significant in Albert's life. We might be able to link this with wife because wife is not present in the video yet. Nonetheless, let's keep on watching. After Albert snaps out of his trance, he climbs up the ladder and spits. Beans fly out of his mouth. He acts surprised and walks to his computer where beans are spilling out. He opens the computer and there are more beans. He said that's not right and gets nervous. He mentions that he thought he got rid of those. He looks under the desk and sees a mannequin head, one that resembles wife. The head is cracked, spilling out beans. He tries to fill her head, but the lights turn out and we see the dark figure once again. Assuming the dark figure and wife are separate objects or people, we can conclude that Albert is trying to run away from wife, but wife keeps on coming back. Another theory I saw is that wife and the figure are the same people. But in video number 2, we can clearly see that wife is with Albert when the figure appears behind them in the sewer, so we can rule that out. So how is everything linked? There are beans, mannequins, merch, orbs, and dark figures, but what is significant about them? I believe that wife was alive, but now she is a figment of his imagination. In the first video, we see a flashback of the tragic accident where Albert threw wife off a roof. Even though Albert killed wife, he doesn't want to accept what he did, so he relives his good time with mannequin wife as if she's real. In the second video, he tries to constantly get away from mannequin wife, as if he's trying to get away from his past, but his mind won't let him. We also see this dark figure for the first time. I also believe the dark figure is him. We can compare Albert's figure to the dark figure and see that they heavily resemble each other. The dark figure represents his past, and that he quote-unquote wants to try again. In the third video, we see an orb which almost confirms that wife did die there. That also means Albert threw wife off that very same roof. We later see wife's head, accompanied with beans multiple times. This might mean Albert can't get away from his dark past. The beans seem to represent something, but I can't figure it out, and this is where you come in. Tell me in the comments your ideas, and I will look into them. Thanks for watching. It would really help if you consider subscribing and leaving a like. I will be working on a follow-up video if there continues to be more videos progressing on the plot. If you like this video, you might want to check out this video about Dream cheating on the Dream SMP.